What if the loudest voice in hip-hop has been hiding the wildest secret of them all? Picture a velvet-roped corner of an after-hours club. Neon haze, bass that rattles ribs, and a phone camera wobbling just long enough to freeze three unmistakable figures. Sean Diddy Combs, a striking trans woman in diamond glasses, and Busta Rhymes, the dragon-voiced hype king himself. The clip lasts only 8 seconds, but the internet barely needs 2 to combust. Suddenly, every joke 50 Cent ever cracked about freak-off nights feels less like trolling and more like a prophecy. And fans everywhere whisper the question no rapper wants to hear. Was that rumor ever really a rumor? Frenzy starts with that clip, but it doesn't end there. Minutes after it leaks, 50 Cent deletes the post. Classic bait and switch. In its absence, hip-hop Twitter detonates. Grainy screenshots go viral, conspiracy threads sprout like weeds. And 50 pops up again, grinning ear to ear. He reminds followers that he's just warming up a Netflix docuseries, allegedly packed with unseen party footage. But even that bigger blast can't drown out the echo of one name: Tony Newman. Tony never needed a shaky phone video to believe those parties were real. She worked them. A decade ago, the former trans escort tried warning the world in her memoir, I Rise, but Hollywood lawyers steamrolled her press run and the story slipped into niche blogs. Fast forward to 2025. True crime podcasts are gold, YouTube sleuths unpack every scandal, and Tony's receipts suddenly look like blueprints. In live streams, she calmly recounts VIP rooms so cold you could see breath, NDA forms slid across silver trays, and a muscle-bound rapper who used to handpick fanboys before sending them upstairs, straight into Diddy's orbit. Days later, federal prosecutors roll Tony's anecdotes into their growing case. Diddy is already on trial in Manhattan, facing a racketeering-style charge that alleges a pipeline of coercion, intimidation, and payouts. The prosecution screens hotel surveillance that once cost 6 figures to bury. A hallway, Diddy in a towel, girlfriend Cassie Ventura shoved into a wall. Cassie testifies, voice calm, eyes fixed on the floor, about humiliation rituals and hush money that bought silence for years. Jurors dissect every frame. Social media does the same, and one question keeps surfacing. Who else kept the machine running? Enter Busta Rhymes. Publicly, Busta is the carnival barker of rap. Roaring hooks, booming laughs, shoulders bouncing like he's conducting an invisible orchestra. Privately, Whisper networks say he's more concierge than carnival. The man who chooses who crosses the velvet rope. Multiple club promoters now claim that unlike most VIP orders, bottles, dancers, models, Busta's rider often featured young men with TikTok haircuts. They were ushered in, then out through back corridors. Screenshots of allegedly unpaid NDAs float across Reddit, and while none are verified, they ignite enough doubt to make Busta allegations trend for 48 hours straight. Of course, rumors can be cheap fireworks. Bright, noisy, gone. But Busta's history with the subject pours gasoline on every spark. In 2006, he allegedly flung a slur and a glass at a male fan who winked too confidently in a New York bar. A year later, documentary filmmaker Byron Hurt tried asking him, politely, about homophobia in rap. Busta ripped off his mic and marched out mid-interview. In 2013, a Miami burger joint cashier told press the rapper exploded in an anti-gay tirade after waiting too long for a milkshake. Fans once chalked these blow-ups up to short temper. Now, they sift through them like clues. The most uncomfortable clip emerges from a backstage meet and greet in 2024. Singer Jeremiah leans against a speaker stack when Busta swoops in, sniffs his collar, and chuckles. Smells like money. Where you headed? Jeremiah half smiles, half flinches. It landed on TikTok as hashtag Uncle Energy. Under the new context, that hashtag ages like warm milk. As the allegations snowball, another unlikely voice resurfaces. Former Disney star Orlando Brown. Viewers once dismissed his wild interviews as rambling, but when he breaks down crying on a January livestream, naming Diddy and Busta as men who passed him around, eyes widen. Suddenly, his old claims of being flown out, used, discarded, read less like tabloid fodder and more like bitter memoir. Orlando's story even syncs with Tony Newman's timeline. Same city, same VIP circuit, same unsmiling security team. Hollywood damage control moves at warp speed. Lawyers draft boilerplate denials. PR reps push feel-good storylines. Busta, usually a social media hurricane, goes radio silent. His last public post is a workout selfie captioned, "Tunnel Vision." Comments, thousands deep, plead for explanations. None come. Meanwhile, 50 Cent pounces, posting memes of open closets, tagging Busta, daring him to reply. He teases that his documentary, working title Diddy Do It, contains a rhymes chapter. Netflix refuses to confirm, but sources claim the bidding war topped 8 figures, and editors have already cleared a 3-minute scene labeled Busta VIP. Inside the courtroom, the clock ticks. Prosecutors know that if they can prove a conspiracy, facilitators face jeopardy just like the mogul himself. They've subpoenaed phone logs, flight manifests, and security clearance lists from luxury hotels in Miami, LA, and New York. One sealed filing reportedly references an unnamed platinum rapper who repeatedly booked penthouse cocktail services under an alias. Same alias that shows up in 50's leaked footage metadata. Reddit detectives cross-check BMI codes, discover it's the same alias used for a 2018 studio session Busta bragged about on Instagram Live. The dots begin to connect in neon. Outside, the music world shifts in real time. Brand sponsors yank ads from songs featuring Diddy. A festival quietly removes Busta as surprise headliner, citing logistics. A veteran journalist tweets that label execs are shredding non-disclosure files, just in case. Every retreat feels like confirmation. Yet, amid the chaos, one truth cuts clearer than rumor. Hip-hop's history is littered with buried scandals that eventually claw their way into daylight. Eddie Murphy's 1997 traffic stop with a trans escort nearly toppled his career before Spin Doctors spun it as late-night charity. LL Cool J faced cease and desist headlines in 2011 when Tony Newman linked him to a one-time paid rendezvous. His legal team called her story fantasy, but never stood under oath. What's different in 2025 is the crowd. Billions of phones, infinite cloud storage, a public that binges scandal like prestige TV and can't unsee footage once it lands on X. And Netflix, set to drop 50 series days after Diddy's verdict, stands ready to turn courtroom transcripts into binge-worthy chapters. If prosecutors secure a conviction, NDAs could shatter under whistleblower provisions. If they miss, 50's doc can still fling the sealed evidence into living rooms worldwide. Either way, velvet ropes won't muffle screams for long. So, where does that leave Busta Rhymes, the man who once boasted he could outshout an earthquake? For now, he's ghost. No stage, no statement, no IG Live rant. But the silence grows heavier each day, and industry insiders whisper that a second phone clip, longer, clearer, exists, showing exactly who escorted who behind a mirrored door. Rumor claims the clip is in 50 Cent's possession, already time-stamped for episode 2. If true, Busta's brand could crumble overnight, not because of who he may love, but because of what he's accused of helping cover up. As the jury retreats to deliberate, 3 futures hover in midair. 1. A guilty verdict. Diddy faces decades, NDAs unravel, and facilitators become targets. Busta's name, if it appears on a single subpoena, turns one man's downfall into a tidal wave. 2. A hung jury or acquittal. Civil suits swarm anyway. 50's doc paints its own verdict. Sponsors still run. The court of public opinion rarely needs a gavel. 3. A quiet plea. Diddy pays, papers seal, but 50 still owns the footage, and public curiosity only sharpens when doors slam shut. Whichever path wins, one fact echoes louder than any baseline. Secrets age poorly in the era of autoplay. The clubs may dim their lights, the lawyers may sharpen their redactions, but somewhere, an 8-second clip has already immortalized a moment that legends prayed would vanish. And if 8 seconds can stir this much chaos, imagine what happens when the full-length version drops. So, what do you believe? Was Busta simply in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was he the concierge of a darker empire? Do leaked clips prove guilt? Or just tempt viewers to fill in gaps with their own nightmares? Drop your take below, smash that subscribe button if you crave unfiltered breakdowns, and buckle up, because the next chapter might arrive before the jury foreperson even clears their throat. Stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, whenever the velvet rope swings shut, the real party often starts in the shadows.